Remember as a child, your parent would say, "Did you hear me?" Sometimes several times until they sent that slipper across the room to ask you for the last time. It's because you can listen without responding. But when you hear, you respond. I'm going to give you 3 tips that you must respond to. Hear this, smart people. Completing your USA Jobs profile will not take you a few hours. It might even take you several days in order for you to complete it well and submit all the information that's needed, as well as uploading forms that you need, as well as some you might not immediately. This is what we're calling prepared. Whenever you hear, you're drawing yourself to a response or an action. Knowledge provides answers. And just like it is with your car, you begin to hear some clanking and the check engine light comes on. You're not sure what to do. You're not the expert. So you go to one for a diagnosis. You have the option to say, "Nah, that doesn't work for me. I'm just going to let it go." Or you can proceed into the waiting area. Now that's easy. Let's talk about 3 tips or myths that are right on the USA Job Search to make your job search easier. Number 1, it's all about who you know. Well, I can tell you that's definitely a water cooler topic at the federal government where I work. The job announcement looks like it's been written with someone in mind. But I can also say that it's not. That's a falsehood. Hiring managers typically work in the field, aka the department of the command within the position is going to be posted. Likewise, they're going to draw from directors and managers on the front line. Consequently, the job announcements are written with first-hand input, knowledge, skills, and abilities that are going to be required to perform the position that's posted. So if it sounds like it's written for someone, it's because it's written for someone who's going to work right by your side or right within your department. And who would know that better than the hiring managers talking to others in that department? I know it may look and feel crazy, all this work that you have to do in order to put in your application. But I'll ask you again, what do you want from your government? You want the very best for your tax-paying dollars. You want smart leadership. And are you stating in your own mind that you don't want to hold your representatives in government accountable? You want your leaders to take cuts and to not be responsible for their actions? Then how do you figure you want to be one of them and half and hurriedly do your resume? Myth tip number 2, because nobody's perfect. People with criminal records can work for the federal government. It's been my experience as a Veterans Employment Representative that this is absolutely true. People with criminal records are eligible to apply for most federal jobs. However, there are some exceptions. You may not be eligible to work for jobs because of specific statutes or laws that prohibit employment dependent on the crime that was committed. For most federal jobs, questions about your criminal history don't appear in the initial application. However, if you receive, as I've said before, a conditional letter of employment, you'll need to complete a declaration for federal employment, an OF-306, and undergo an investigation, a security check, which I've talked to in length in other tutorials. Now, what have you heard here and what action should you take so far? The number 1, the odds are not against you, regardless of who you know, so apply. And number 2, nobody's perfect, and it's imperative for you to complete all the required information completely and honestly. Timing is everything. It's the T in SMART, and this is a good time for me to ask you to hit that like button. I truly appreciate it. But as far as applying for the job, there's no better time than now. So we're going to move on to tip number 3. Before you apply for any job, look at who may apply. It's right on the onset of your eligibility. You cannot force yourself in a position if you're not eligible. Those requirements, like a certification for a particular state that you're in, they are the expectations. So begin there. When you look over a possible position to reduce the likelihood that you'll be rejected, focus your efforts on those positions for which you meet the expectations by reading in totality. The devil's in the details. Everything I've learned and am sharing with you has been over the course of 10 years working as an employment representative and now 10 years working as a federal employee. I'm pouring it into this context with no strings attached. I'm not waiting for you to do anything, not to buy a book or sign up for a class of mine. Nothing other than hit the like and subscribe. That's all I ask, because it helps me push my videos out to others. Well, not me, but you too. I've said it before, for every action, there is an equal and opposing reaction. That's Isaac Newton's third law of motion. We can't change without putting effort into action. Now let's recap here. And here is my boot, which I'm not going to throw at you. Number 1, it's not who you know, it's knowledge, skills, and ability. Number 2, even if you have a criminal background, there is still an opportunity for you. Number 3, read the qualifications, the expectations before you apply. External force is necessary in order to implement change in your life. And the change you are seeking at this moment by watching this video and hopefully others is to work for the federal government. I am also hopeful that I am an inspiration to you. People who are smart, veterans, disabled people, minorities, women, everyday people, because the government needs you, smart people. Encouragement is like oxygen to the spirit of anyone. My goal is to encourage you through sharing my personal experience and evident successes with others. If you're hearing me, give me a shout out in the comments below. That's it for today, smart people. Bye-bye.